name's Tristan Vinson. My interviewee is my grandmother, Cheryl Sizemore. Tell us about yourself.
I was born in Randolph County in 1961. I'm 57 years old, and I lived in the 70s.
Okay, so what was it like in the 70s?
In the 70s, there wasn't a whole lot going on. We had like 3 channels on the TV. We didn't have cable. We didn't have cell phones. We didn't have computers. We were pretty much, you didn't do anything. You stayed home, you rode around with your friends, and that was about it because we didn't have anything to do.
Okay, what historical events do you remember?
I remember Watergate, where Nixon and his people broke into the DNC and stole information. He got impeached. I remember Mount St. Helens erupted, 3 Mile Island, which was a nuclear facility, and we had lots of drainage and stuff from that. It was up in Pennsylvania. The voting age was reduced from 21 to 18 in the 70s. Roe versus Wade was in the 70s. That's where it was declared constitutional for a woman to have an abortion. She didn't have to, it was the law. She could have an abortion if she chose. The computer was invented in the 70s. Panama Canal, control of it was given back to Panama from the United States. Our first space shuttle was in the 70s, the Enterprise. There's a lot went on in the 70s.
Okay, so are there any big changes since the 70s to now?
Yes, lots of changes. I mentioned already, when we were young, we didn't have cell phones we could tote around. We went to school, we had books we opened, we took notes in notebooks, we did homework, we didn't have computers to sit in a classroom and do them. We didn't have, the only thing we had to really do was, we just rode around uptown on Friday or Saturday night. That's pretty much it. We went skating and we dallied, but we had to go, out of town to do that. And we had lots of fun, but we didn't have a lot of stuff, which I know in Roanoke there's still not a lot of stuff to do. It's still kind of like it was in the 70s. Not a lot.
So, in your opinion, was it better in the 70s than now?
For me personally, yes. It was better in the 70s because I am not a social creature. I don't get on the internet a lot. I don't do social media whatsoever. I'm just not. For me, I was happier in the 70s.
How did you feel in the 70s?
Being totally honest, scared a lot because there was a lot of stuff going on in the 70s. We had civil rights movements going on. We had women's rights going on. We had gay rights going on. It was just, this week you go to school and everybody might get along together. 2 weeks from there, you might go in and the students be kind of squabbling with each other. So you don't really, in the 70s, it was a scary time.
Were there any major inventions in the 70s? If so, what were they?
We got our first calculators, computers, VHS tapes. The first test tube baby was born in the 70s.
Who were the presidents in the 70s?
In the 70s, we had Nixon, we had Ford, and we had Carter.
What TV shows did you watch?
Going back to the not having many channels because we didn't have cable, what I watched was the Waltons, Little House on the Prairie, Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Taxi, All in the Family, American Bandstand. We didn't get, that's about it. We didn't get a lot of shows on the 70s.
What music did you listen to?
My very favorite music was Bay City Rollers. They were a Scottish group. Tony DeFranco and his family. Kiss, of course. 70s, gosh. 70s. Leonard Skinner, Jackson 5, Donna Summer, Paul McCartney, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Three Dog Night, Olivia Newton-John, Michael Jackson, Village People, Commodores, Gloria Gaynor, Bruce Springsteen, just the whole, music was, we couldn't see a lot on TV, but we did have radios and we listened to music.
What were trends in the 1970s?
Oh, bell bottoms. All the girls wore bell bottoms, some of the guys. All the girls liked to wear the scarves in their hair back in the 70s. The big thing was fondue pots. If you went to a party, everybody had either a cheese or chocolate fondue maker. And that's just melted chocolate or cheese. And you could take marshmallows or crackers or cake or whatever you wanted to dip in it. And going out dancing was big in the 70s. Disco.
What does it mean to be an American to you?
To me, to be an American means I live in a country where I have freedoms and rights that other people don't have in other countries. If I want to vote for this person, I don't have to ask anybody, can I? I don't have to go along with anybody. If everybody votes this way, I don't have to. I can go my own way. It's just the liberties and freedoms we have here. That's what it means to me to be an American.
Why is it important to study American history?
Because if we don't study American history like you're doing now, you wouldn't know any of the stuff that happened when I was a child. And that's why it's important to learn from the generation before you or the generation before that what actually happened. And y'all are young enough now, y'all can talk to grandmothers and sometimes great-grandmothers and see what they lived. You don't have to read it in a book. Some of it you can actually get firsthand by talking to them. So that's just knowledge. Always talk to your elders because they can give you a wealth of information.
That's all I have for you. This is my interviewee, my grandmother, Cheryl Sizemore. Thank you for watching.